How's it hanging, folks? It's a real bro here, back today with another PVM guide, this time doing the Slayer boss Cerberus. This guide is going to be solely focused on the melee method for killing Cerberus, because I'm going to assume you do not have a twisted bow, which is basically the only really viable ranged option against this boss, because its range defense is pretty high. Now, back in the day, before the blowpipe nerf, you might have seen some people say that the blowpipe was a viable option of killing Cerberus. Not anymore, it's not. So anywho, let's get into what you need. You need 91 Slayer, or 86 Slayer and a boost with a Wild Pie. I actually started killing Cerberus, I think at 87 Slayer. The boosting method is totally 100% viable. You do need a Hellhound Slayer task, but you get those pretty commonly, so you can rack up a pretty high KC pretty quickly here. You're also going to want to have Shadows of the Storm done so that you can get access to the Arclight Sword, which is the best in slot meta option for killing Cerberus. So now what about the rest of the stuff that you should be using? Well, Torva is going to be best in slot here, but let's assume that you don't have that just yet. Then Bandos is going to be your next best option. If you don't have full Bandos, then, go with the Fighter Torso and some Thorax plate legs or something, I don't know. Really, the armor that you wear doesn't matter that much. The main thing that you're going to want to bring is a Spectral Spirit Shield. This will save you a ton of prayer points and make Cerberus significantly more palatable if your cash stack isn't that huge, because you're going to be running through prayer potions like crazy doing this boss. And unless you get one of the crystal drops, you're probably going to be losing money. Now, speaking of prayer potions, we should talk about the inventory. There isn't really one defined prayer potion to food ratio that works well for everybody. It's kind of a your mileage may vary type deal, but I've come up with a formula that seems to work quite well for me for getting 8 to 12 kill trips, and that is bringing 8 prayer potions and about 16 pieces of high healing food. I like sea turtles and manta rays, mostly because I think it's funny to imagine my character eating an entire sea turtle while in the middle of a fight. I mean, look at this thing. It's freaking huge. Other than the prayer potions and food, you're going to want to bring some kind of super combat potion, a rune pouch filled with teleportation runes to get out, and then a defender switch for when you're not using the Spectral Spirit Shield, because DPS is everything here. So now real quick before we get into the fight, let's talk about how to get there. You can either set your house portal to Taverley or bring a Taverley teleport tablet and then run south. The entrance to the Taverley dungeon is just south of Taverley, and as you can see here, we're going in there now. You're gonna run over here and use that 80 agility that you totally have to jump over this spiky pit, and then run north along this wall, and then the entrance to Cerberus is gonna be right there. Now, this is how I actually get there. You can teleport to Falador, and then run west to the agility shortcut over the wall, and then run to the Taverley dungeon that way. I like doing it this way because it saves me one food slot, because I don't have my house portal set to Taverley, because that's too much work and I can't be asked to do that. Now, admittedly, it does take a little bit longer to get there, going about it the Falador route, but again, I like doing it this way because it lets me bring one more piece of food, and that might let me get one more kill, which makes it worth it for me. Finally, you're gonna run to one of these winch thingies, and then check it, always peek it before you go in, and then just click to go in, and there you go, you're in the Cerberus boss chamber. There's also the Keymaster teleport that you will get sometimes as a drop from Cerberus, but honestly, you don't get them often enough to be able to rely on them as a consistent teleportation method. So I like to just stack them up and use them when I die, because I die pretty frequently, because I'm not that great at this game. So now that we got all that boring stuff out of the way, let's talk about the fight itself, because that's probably the reason why you clicked on this video in the first place. So first and foremost, throughout the duration of the fight, you're going to want to protect from magic and turn Piety on. This is going to allow you to deal much more damage per second, and it will protect you against the only attack that Cerberus does that your armor is trash against in the first place. Now, Cerberus's max hit is only 23, so I would recommend not eating throughout the entire fight and saving your healing for the 10 seconds between kills, because the Cerberus fight goes pretty quick. I think on average it takes about a minute. So just focus on dealing DPS, avoiding the area of effect attacks, and the combo attacks, and the summon souls, and leave the healing for after the fight is over. And that's really it. That's all that I have for general tips. Cerberus is pretty easy. Just point, click, deal damage. So let's talk about the special attacks, starting with the combo attack. So the combo attack will always be the 1st, the 10th, and the 21st attacks of the Cerberus fight. Realistically, you shouldn't get more than 3 in a fight because Cerberus dies pretty quickly, and by the time you get to the 4th, it should be dead. Now, if you want to be Count Chocula and count every attack that comes from Cerberus, be my guest, but I prefer to do it in a much lazier way. I know that it's going to be the 1st attack, and I know that it's going to be 3 attacks after the summoned souls, so I just keep that in mind. I don't even count the attacks after the summoned souls. I just look for a magic attack, and as soon as I see it, I get ready. I switch my prayers. Now the combo attack is going to be the same thing every time. It's going to go magic, ranged, melee. You have 2 ticks in between each attack to switch your prayers to protect against that type of damage, and the easiest way to do this is visually. The second that you see that magic attack coming your way, switch to protect from ranged. The second that you see the ranged attack coming your way, switch to protect from melee. If you do it like that, there's a very, very good chance that you will pray protectively against all of the incoming damage. If for whatever reason you get the timing wrong, then at the very least, you should be able to protect from magic and protect from melee. Sometimes I just straight up forget that the combo attack is a thing, and if I see Cerberus use a ranged attack right after a mage attack, I'll switch my prayer to protect from melee, so at the very least, I'm protecting against 2 of the 3 attacks. Okay, so now let's talk about the Summoned Souls attack. On the 7th and the 14th attacks of Cerberus's fight, he will go Aru and summon 3 ghosts out of the door in the back. These ghosts will have a color corresponding with their attack style, and you will need to pray against those attack styles accordingly to save yourself from taking 30 damage. When you pray correctly against those attack styles, instead of dealing damage to you, they will just take your precious prayer points, hence why you're going to be running through prayer potions doing this boss. Now, when you see Cerberus go Aru, that means it's time to get ready to switch to your Spectral Spirit Shield. This is why you brought it. So basically, instead of draining you for 30 prayer points if you pray correctly against it, it will only drain you for 15, which is half the prayer points. Now, a little pro gamer tip. If you keep your prayer points below 45 but above 30, when the ghosts start attacking you and you have your Spectral Spirit Shield on, and they will drain you for everything you have. But if you're between 30 and 45, that means technically you're saving a few prayer points, which in the long run equals money in your pocket. Now, of course, I don't do this because I'm lazy and that would require me to pay attention to more than one thing at a time. But if you're a meta gamer, go for that strategy because, money and all that good stuff. GP per hour scape. Now, to pray against these ghosts effectively, remember, blue equals magic, green equals ranged, and red equals melee. As soon as you see the first one attack, switch your prayer to the next one in the order, going from left to right. It's pretty easy, it's not super complicated. The only time that this gets tricky is when Cerberus throws the lava pools on the ground, which is what we're going to get into next. But basically, focus on the ghosts more than the lava pools. And that's going to be the last thing that we talk about in terms of the fight, the lava pools. Once you get Cerberus below 200 health, it will start going grrr every 5th attack and throw lava pools on the ground. Precisely 3 of them. One of them will always be where you are standing at the time, meaning basically if you're doing the melee method, you're always going to get hit by one of them. Now, if you really, really want to avoid it, or if you want to get the combat achievement not doing the ranged method, then just click to move after every attack. That should keep you safe. Again, I don't do that because I'm lazy and the lava pools only do about 10 damage, so it's not that bad, but that is 100% a viable strategy for avoiding them. It's just effort intensive. Now, if you get caught lacking and not paying attention and you're standing in the lava pool, it's going to do damage to you every tick. So that 10 damage that you're guaranteed to take will turn into 50 damage very quickly. So just pay attention. Walk away from it. You got to be at least 2 tiles away because it is an area of effect attack. But assuming that you can manage to click on your computer screen with your mouse, you should be fine. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I really hope that you appreciate this super low effort guide that I made. But honestly, the best advice that I can give you for Cerberus is to just send it. You might have seen other videos where they talk about this chart thing, listing all the attacks and the order that they come in and all that stuff. But listen, alright, I'm not Count Chocula. I'm not Albert Einstein over here trying to figure out some astrological chart or something. I just want to play the game and have fun. If you go down into Cerberus's lair, do 20-30 kills, you'll figure out the timing, you'll get it memorized pretty quickly, and then you don't need any of that extraneous stuff. Just do it. Just send it. And, you know, have a good time too, of course. But anywho, if you enjoyed the video for whatever reason, feel free to click the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you feel like I forgot something, or if you want to add something yourself, leave a comment and I'll try and respond to it. If you have any questions about the boss, feel free to ask. I try to answer every comment that I get, although admittedly I'm pretty terrible at it. But other than that, as always, have a good one.